I'm recording this video kind of en route to the next rant that I'm going to go off on. Um, and I don't think it's really a rant, but it's it's a topic that will likely get have some twists and turns, and hopefully I can stay semi-coherent through most of it. But before I go there, I just want to reflect on something that I think is is a stumbling block to many who are conspiracy doubters or who scoff at conspiracy theories, or maybe don't scoff. Maybe that's putting it too strongly. Maybe they do have open minds to a degree, but then it still seems to them that these conspiracy theory people are just a little screwy or a little off the wall. And there are there are people out there who are screwy and who are off the wall. So that doesn't help matters. In the PR department, I would say conspiracy theorists don't always help themselves. But then again, there's no real way to control. When you're just a loose conglomeration of thinkers, there's no real way to control who gets the attention, who starts getting lots of oxygen and a lot of eyes and a lot of ears tuned in to a particular to conspiracy theorist A, let's just say, who doesn't really have it going on too well, but who's maybe very charismatic and very interesting, and I don't know, amusing, and so he seizes the spotlight and makes it seem as though all of the rest of us, and I'll say us because yes, I will include myself as a conspiracy theorist. I will, just for the sake of rhetoric here, I will put myself in that same much derided category. But I think that a way to overcome the stumbling block, if you are someone who wants to be a conspiracy theorist, I don't know who really wants it. Does anybody want it? You want to become a highly despised member of society. You want to be considered, a moral leper by the oh so moral powers that be, who have every right to cast stones, considering just how immaculate they are, and how they never get into unsavory practices ever whatsoever. But anyway, if you're somebody who's on the fence, let's just say, think about this. There's, I think, in a way, we're trained now to, when you hear things like Bohemian Grove or the Bilderberg or the Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, all of these organizations, right? You hear them and you think it's almost like hearing somebody mention these things just puts them beyond the pale. It makes them, they just sound like a crazy ranting loon when they mention these organizations. But all of these organizations are real. They do actually exist. None of them are made up. Even the mainstream will admit that these organizations exist. And here are some other things that one must know about these groups of people who meet, and the meetings that they have, and the customs which prevail at these meetings. What customs prevail, you ask? Well, we don't know because these meetings aren't covered. And that should give you pause. So let me explain a little bit more what I mean here. Anytime you've got Bohemian Grove, meeting in Northern California, or Trilateral Commission meeting wherever they meet, the Bilderbergs, um, all these other organizations that I'm talking about. You've got, in all these places, you've got extremely powerful, very well connected people in politics, in media, uh, and in various venues that are highly influential. Okay, so anytime there's a meeting, it is something that you would think would be newsworthy. Okay, so they choose some I don't know, some high toned chalet. Chalet, that is that the right word to use? I'm just thinking of some extremely upscale um, location, like a hotel with just incredible security, and and all of these powerful, influential, uh, highly connected people. Some of them with names you wouldn't know, but some of them with names that you would know. And a lot of them are people who will later become presidents and prime ministers. Um, so we're talking about a powerful contingent of people, and they're all going to these meetings. Whenever this group or that group meets, they go to these meetings and and discuss things. Now, one would think that this is the perfect place, the most appropriate place for the media, for people, if the media is indeed the fourth estate, if the media is accountable, uh, if the media's job is to make the powers that be accountable to their constituents, to the people generally, then you would think the media would be swarming these gatherings, that they would be swarming these gatherings, and that there would be this carnival-like atmosphere around, whatever fancy high-toned hotel in the Swiss Alps, or wherever the hell they're meeting, or if it's just the Grove, this place up in the redwood forest with where there's just a bunch of cabins and a big owl that they sacrifice. They make a sacrifice to, apparently, at the end of the gathering. Pretty weird stuff. I mean, but this has been pictured on camera. They do, this is stuff that they do. The cremation of care. Look it up, okay? Even if it's not sinister, even if it doesn't involve an actual human sacrifice, it's pretty strange, pretty weird, and I would say it is pretty sinister. Even if it's not doesn't actually involve killing anybody. But anyway, all of that stuff aside, all the hocus pocus stuff aside, all of the mystical, the darkly mystical, Crowleyan kind of stuff. All the woo woo stuff aside. Anytime you've got a meeting where all of these powerful, influential people are going, you know what happens? The media does not show. There is a complete media blackout. That's what happens when the Bilderbergs meet, when the Trilateral Commission meets, when the Council of Foreign Relations meets. when Bohemian Grove takes place. The media stays the hell away. And there even was a letter written. I mean, this is something you might have to search for, but it's something I've heard about many times. A letter written, I believe, by David Rockefeller, wherein he says he's writing to the local media people and saying, "Thank you very much for your discretion. We really appreciate it." What does that mean? Well, obviously, what it means is you're not covering us, and that way we can meet in secret and talk about whatever it is that we're talking about. Now, I don't know much about public, like school board meetings and other sorts of legal public gatherings or what have you. But I do know that those deliberations, those governmental deliberations, are supposed to be a matter of public record, with the idea that this is stuff that's supposed to get out, that people are allowed to know about, ought to know about what their elected officials are doing. In these cases, you've got people who are both elected and unelected, mostly unelected, but nevertheless extremely powerful and influential, with a lot of control over our lives. And the only ones who show up are these scrappy little, independent journalists, with their dinky little, equipment, and they're just scrambling around, trying to trying to get a peek in a window, or when somebody walks out and they recognize who it is, they start asking him questions as he's walking down the street. That sort of confrontational journalism that you see. Excuse me, Mr. Powerful world leader, billionaire. What did you all talk about in there? Are you planning to wipe us all out? Are you planning? Is it true that you want to whittle down the Earth's population to 500 million people? Putting the camera in his face. That's the closest thing we see to actual journalism. So, if you're on the fence about, I don't know what to think of all this conspiracy thinking stuff, it seems a little bit kooky to me. This should at least get you, this should nudge you in the direction of thinking that, yeah, conspiracy theorists are definitely not perfect. A lot of them are probably off the mark in many ways, but at least they're looking at things that should be getting looked at by the mainstream media, but that isn't getting any examination from the mainstream media, because there is clearly collusion between the mainstream media and these other powerful figures. And if that collusion happens at these meetings, if ABC, CBS, Fox News, CNN, whatever, what have you, on down the line, if all of these major media conglomerates don't ever cover these meetings of extremely powerful people, if they don't advertise them, they don't even say that they're happening, that shows that there is collusion. And if there's collusion at these moments, at the time that these meetings take place, don't you think there's likely collusion taking place elsewhere? Don't you think the collusion that there's likely collusion, that collusion may not be ubiquitous, but it is at least very, very widespread? And if that is true, and I think it is all true, and it's not it is all true. Everything I'm saying here is true. You can check on it, if you doubt me. But I don't think you will find what I've said here refuted in any way by anyone, by anyone in the mainstream. You won't even find this refuted by the attendees of these gatherings. They will admit that they're meeting in secret. Why do they get to meet in secret? What are they talking about? Don't we have the right to know what they're talking about? Is this not a newsworthy event? Apparently not to the purveyors of news. So, now that you've heard me out, hopefully this has removed your stumbling block if you've been on the fence, and you are at least now ready to call yourself a conspiracy theorist, even if you don't want to, even if you want to stay in the closet about it, which is fine. That's understandable, but I think that I have, if you've been listening to me, I have successfully removed the log from your eye so that you can see the speck in my eye. And I have many specks in my eyes. I'm not perfect either, but I'm right about this. So let me know what you think. My name is Andy Nowicki. Please check out my work at altrightnovelist.com. My written work, you can find it there. Fiction and nonfiction. My latest book, The Insurrectionist, can be purchased from terrorhousepress.com.